Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, you may recall that a couple weeks ago I talked to you about a tree in my front yard that didn't survive the Arctic blast that hit us last winter, and how I was concerned that I was going to have to bring it down because I was concerned that it might fall down on its own, and since it was kind of leaning at my neighbor's house, I wanted to kind of bring it down on my own rather than just having it fall down and risk landing on my neighbor's house. Well, it turns out a couple days ago on Wednesday we had a pretty serious serious windstorm that blew through here. We had gusts in 40 to 50 miles an hour, and that windstorm ended up knocking a whole bunch of really big branches off the tree and kind of drove home the point that I got to do something quicker than I had originally planned. Now, fortunately, while it brought down some big branches and probably brought down about a third of the tree, since the branches were only large, not huge, they ended up coming straight down and ended up on the ground underneath the tree. And it turns out now that enough of the tree has come down on its own that I think I can tackle the rest of it on my own. So let me go out in the front yard and let's show you what we're dealing with. So it was kind of funny because I was aware we had this windstorm coming up on Wednesday, but I wasn't really that aware of it happening because when I went to work that morning, it wasn't really that windy and I was indoors all day, and so really wasn't aware of it happening. But as I was getting ready to leave, one of my colleagues said, "Hey, be careful driving home tonight. It's really windy out there." And I started thinking about this tree immediately. And so the second I got home, I came out here to look at, see if everything was okay. And from a distance, it appeared that everything was okay because the tree was still standing. But when I got here, this is what I found. So this is probably 6 or 8 really big branches. I mean, this one here is good 4 inches in diameter. That's my fist. That came down on its own, and most of the top branches of the tree did come down on their own. You can see there's a whole bunch of them here. I also had this branch here which came off the pecan tree. I kind of moved it all back into the corner of the yard here, and we're eventually going to move it into the backyard and cut it up, and it will become firewood this year. But this drove home the point that this tree became really brittle in the summer, and it didn't take much for a little bit of wind to tear the branches apart and have them come down. And this is really what's left of the tree here. Obviously, that was where a branch came down, that was where a branch came down, that was where a branch came down, there, up there. You can see a whole bunch of the tree came down, but this is the branch I was mainly concerned about because this is the one that's hanging out over the neighbor's house. This one's just kind of directly overhead, so if I can cut this one down, it'll come straight down basically right where I'm standing now. So I just came back from Home Depot. I bought myself a chainsaw, and I think I'm going to go up there and I'm going to try and bring at least a lot of the top of this tree down and get it onto the ground safely so that there are no more threats to the neighbor's house. So that's the task for today. Let's get going. And for those of you who are concerned about the fact that I could get hurt or worse doing this kind of task, keep in mind, if you're watching this video, I obviously survived to remove the video from the camera, edit it, and upload it. So we're all good. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to get all these dead branches into the backyard so that they're out of the way. I'm going to be bringing more dead branches down anyway, and I'm going to need room to put the ladder out here. So let's get that done. Alright, so this is a chainsaw I bought that I think is going to help me bring this tree down. Now I've chosen to go with a battery operated model over a gas powered model. It's a little less expensive, and since I don't really anticipate needing to do a lot of chainsaw work, I figured, I'm going to save a little bit of money on it. Now, I've been a little leery about battery operated power tools in the past because generally they didn't have the power, but we're getting to the point now where battery technology has improved significantly. And so I think a battery powered chainsaw is actually going to be able to do the job for me. And the chainsaw model I bought included a battery and a charger. And since the battery wasn't charged, I have to spend a little time charging it. So that is what's going on right now. We're going to get it charged. But for now, I think what I want to do is I want to get up in the tree and bring down some of the little branches that are up there. And I think I can do that with a reciprocating saw. So let's get outside and start working on that. So I think I want to start with this kind of middle branch here, and I want to get some of these little side branches off of it so I can get up way up high and bring those down. If I can get that all the way, you know, cut all the way off, all the way down to the little fork here, then that's going to make it easier to get to this one. And this is the one where I'm going to have to spend some time thinking about, because this is the one that's hanging over the neighbor's house, and this is the one that's got the danger of causing potential damage. But I think I got an idea how to solve that issue and make sure that when it comes down, it comes straight down versus coming down onto the neighbor's house. So like I said, let's get going, cutting off this one, and see if we can bring this branch down as far as we can go. Alright, so I'm ready to kind of make the first cut on this center branch here that I was telling you about. And here's what I want to do in order to make sure it comes down where I want it to and not onto the neighbor's house. As you can see, I've tied a piece of purple cord right there, and it kind of strings down there to the gate over here, to the fence over here. And what I want to do is kind of right above the level of the ladder, I want to start cutting on this side here. Probably cut about 2/3 of the way through the branch, and then I'm going to come down the ladder. I'm going to pull on the cord. I'm going to count on the fact that the wood up there is brittle enough that I'll be able to pull it down from the safety of the ground without having to be up there when it comes down. I think that's probably the safest way to do that, and that's what we're going to attempt to do. Now the chainsaw still isn't ready, but I think I can do what I have to do with the reciprocating saw. So we're going to go up there, and like I said, we're going to start cutting right kind of above the level of where the ladder is, and we're going to try and bring at least half of that center section down. Alright, so I think I got a fair chunk of this cut away, and now I'm just going to give it a good yank. Down it comes. Like I said, that was way safer than being up there when it came down that way. So I think the process is going to work here. We will safely get this thing down, I think. Alright, now I've tied the cord to the top of this little part of the branch here, and I've gone down. I've actually pulled out the chainsaw now and cut about 80% of the way through this branch. So I'm just going to repeat the process, and down it comes. Alright, we're making progress. We got the middle branch off. Now we can start working on that top branch. Alright, I think I'm ready to bring this next piece of this branch down. Now, this one was a little scary because I originally had the ladder reaching up to about there, and the branch was wobbling around so much I got about halfway up the ladder and I just didn't feel safe. So I got up there enough to attach the rope way up high, but I then lowered the ladder back down to about this level and made the cut just above the ladder level. So I'm going to try and bring this whole branch down in one shot. And I made the cut on the far side, so the only place it's holding is right here. So if I kind of pull away from the house, it may hit this tree on the way down, but we should avoid any collateral damage. So let's see what happens. This is going to be the most dangerous drop of the whole thing, because this is the one that could go really wrong. Okay, well, I guess I anticipated that as a possibility, but at least it didn't hit the house. That's the important thing. And once I get that cut down now, that should actually come apart pretty easy. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to try and pull on it a few times and see if I can yank it down. I think that's probably the safest thing to do. I was thinking maybe getting up there and cutting there, but I don't really want to be up there cutting that last little membrane that's holding the branch on and risk having it come down and take the ladder down with me. So I think the best thing to do is just to pull on it and see if I can break it loose. Alright, success. We got that one down without any serious problems. Didn't even have to take this branch down. It kind of landed on top of that branch. But just a couple yanks and it broke loose on this end and fell to the ground, and actually kind of still hung up there a little bit, but once I had the big end on the ground, I could just pull it down really easily. So next thing I want to do is start working on this one here. and I had like a kind of a medium-sized branch sticking out there, so I went out there and cut that off. And now I'm going to go a little higher up the tree, and I'm going to try and bring those two big branches down, and then I can start bringing this thing down probably in about 3 chunks. All right, making good progress. I got the larger of the 2 branches that kind of went out over here. That came down relatively easy. I just got to bring this one more branch down, and once I got that one down, the rest of it will be easy, because then it's just a matter of chopping it off little bits at a time, and bringing it down piece by piece. So let's get that one last one down, and well, almost be done with this. All right, one of the big branches down, one to go. All right, just about done. I got it almost down to the ground now. I got about a 4-foot tall stump, and that should come out with about 2 chunks. And I think what I'm going to do, at least initially, is I'm going to probably leave a stump in the ground, and we'll probably just set like a pot on it or something like that, and put some potted plant on it. I think that'll look good. Whatever the case is, there is no more risk of the tree falling down on the neighbor's house, and that's a good thing. So let's get the rest of this out, and then I'm going to have some firewood to make. Alright, so I think we've gone as far as we can go right now. I was halfway through cutting through this little piece right here, and the battery, which I only charged about halfway on the chainsaw, kind of gave up. So I'm going to have to recharge the battery. But like I said, we got the worst of it done. The tree is down. All the dangerous part is done, so there's no more risk to the neighbor's house. And if I come back and finish this off some other day, it will be good. And as you can see, I got some nice chunks of firewood here that will serve me well this winter. Oh, and this stuff here too. This is all the upper branches and some of the main lower branches as they came down. So like I said, it's going to take a little while to chop this all up, but we'll have a lot of firewood this winter, and that's a good thing. So anyway, I think that is all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.